So, welcome to 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I am here with Greg Clifford, Emmet O'Brien, and Geoff Raffle, also known as the Poet Geoff. And I am your host, Rachel Lally, and we're here with our creative minds discussing big questions. And today's thought experiment is, right guys, you know I'm a bit witchy. I've been working away in my house. I've created a little pill. And this little pill, if you take it, you will be immortal. Immortality. You can never die.
Okay.
I'm going to give you each one. You can decide what you're going to do with it.
I love Emmet's face. Just look at his face.
He's like, ew. Absolutely. Take first.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to take it.
You're obviously
going to live
take
forever.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Well, no, hold on. Actually, hold on. Do we live forever like this, or do we just like every year get like even more old and wrinkly?
I haven't really had that much time to test it yet. I just made it there the other day, so.
Oh, fuck it, I'll take my chances and go.
Wait, so you're just going to go straight in, no thought, I want to be immortal.
Straight in, no kissing.
So man.
Why would you want to live forever?
Because I don't want to die. Because then you don't know that you ever lived in the first place.
My only issue with living forever would be it kind of takes away the urgency of if there's a framework in which we live, we're born, we die, and we have to fill that time out ourselves. That kind of means that there's an incentive to get up and go or to create a goal and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's my initial thought anyway. So
you're saying you would procrastinate your life?
Oh no, God, I don't procrastinate my life one bit. But because I treat it in that vein that I'm going to die. And I think I'm happy to work within that.
Okay, so you're afraid that you would procrastinate if you knew
that yes, that I would lose, I'd lose that urgency and incentive for living.
Yeah, but Greg, like, you can procrastinate all you want. You have all the time in the world.
I know, and then descend into boredom.
Yeah, but after like 400 years of being bored, you're going to get up and do something.
Would it become that you just live your life alone? Like if you're immortal, you grow up, you have family, then friends around you, but they're all going to die. So then, as you grow older, you're going to have nobody. So for the huge majority of, and it could become to a stage where then you push it on even further, where the world is fucked and there's nobody else living on the world, so you're the last person, you can't die.
Yeah, that'd be savage. Think about it, right? You're looking at it in a real negative way, right? So you're like, oh, everyone's gonna die, and like everyone's gonna die fucking anyway, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like the odds, like when you think about it in your life, like I hate to be blunt about it, but before you die, odds are
blunt at all.
Your parents are gonna die. Like if you're the older one in a relationship, your partner's gonna die, and then you die, right? So I mean, like, it's going to happen anyway. So if you're living immortal, what you do is, here, go on, have this relationship for 60 years, right, you croaked it, open up Tinder, back on it, what's up? Oh, I'm a widower, but I'm looking well for a widower. And then it's just a new cycle. So instead of looking at it in terms of, like, this mundane cycle of, oh, well, like, I'm not going to have anyone. No, you'll just have cycles of people in your life. Now, you will have to get used to the fact that death is going to happen, but death is going to happen either way, and I feel like after 600 years of people dying, you just get used to it.
Oh, like, I love... You have to get used to this mundane life of being in a relationship with somebody for 60 years.
Do you not think, Emmet, like, instead of getting used to the death, would you not just have like a collective trauma and end up just like this really damaged person because of all the death and would you end up not wanting to have relationships with people because they would seem kind of futile? Like people that go on tour for months and they're like, they have a great night with one or two people and then they're like, oh sure, there's no point keeping in touch because I'm never going to see them again.
I don't think so. I think like it's a perspective thing. Like your perspective tells a lot in this. So I mean, like you were thinking about immortality, and the first thing that everyone's thinking here is, oh well, everyone's gonna die, and I'll just be left and death, and like that's a negative perspective of having it. Like if you think about it, how much crack could you have? The fact you know that you're never gonna die, but everyone else thinks that you're gonna die. Right? Imagine Anne Frank took that pill. Right? Gets fucking captured by the lads. They bring her back to the spot. They fucking try to burn her, and then the next thing you know, she just rises from the flames.
Well, she's still suffering the pain. It's just immortality. It's just that you don't die. It doesn't mean you don't experience suffering and pain.
You think she would have kept writing the diary? Would she have kept writing the diary?
I love how he could have chosen anybody from history, absolutely anybody from history.
Nice, fantastic, lovely life.
Anne Frank, the first.
No, the point I'm trying to make here is that if Anne Frank was immortal, she would have wiped out the entirety of the Nazi population.
No, it's not the fear though that you're gonna be like that you live your entire life in misery, like in a purgatory without any escape. So someone could capture you and torture you, like indefinitely.
Can I go back to that? Because like I just can't get over the fact that like, this question started as it is, and now we're talking about the fact that Anne Frank is a badass zombie who's destroying the whole Nazi party.
She's not a zombie. She's not a zombie, right? But Anne Frank is in fucking what's the name of that spot that she was in? Anne Frank is in Auschwitz or whatever you call it, right? She tries to escape, right? So there's some Nazi sitting there and he has an AK-47 in his hand, right? Anne Frank's making a run for it. Bam, headshot. She hits the deck, right? Well,
and now she has brain damage.
No, she's not brain damage. She just get back up and start going again. Like.
It's not like impossible to hurt you. You just can't die. So you could live forever in pain and suffering.
Oh, how would you know though? You didn't test the pill, so
this is a chance you're willing to take though.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I get the pill Hitler. I'm on it.
I'd like to know how you'd age with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Is it every usual human year we get 100 out of it after we take the pill? Yeah.
There's been a few films on this, hasn't there? About kind of like it's
mostly about vampires, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Jim Jarmusch one. What's it called? Only Lovers Left Alive.
Of course, you're going to choose the most random fucking film on vampires ever.
It's Tilda Swinton and Leto. How do you pronounce his name? Leto or Leto?
Jared Leto.
That's the one, baby. Yeah, they're in it, and basically the narrative is that extreme loneliness creeps in, and just this despair of not being able to die.
It's the same in Interview with a Vampire.
He's a mad negative about this.
Maybe that's why vampires are in coffins all the time. Maybe they're just like, I'm so depressed, I give up, I'm just gonna sleep and like sleep my days away.
No, I think that's a very stereotypical view of a vampire. Now, what's his name? Robert Pattinson now with Twilight didn't have a coffin.
Well, that's because he's a young vampire, isn't he?
Mm.
He still needs to rest.
I think we might be digressing here, are we?
What difference would it make, Greg? Like, if you could, do you think it would be better to stay young forever or to age?
Well, see, if you get to if you keep aging, how much are you going to wither into a fucking mandarin that's been left outside for 3 years? You know, are you just going? Are you going to be so shriveled up that you can't even move? And then the tragedy is that you can't die. So you're just left in this one position.
Mm. Well, if people are shooting you with AK-47s, you're probably going to end up like that anyway. Chunks taken.
Well, we wouldn't be in the fucking, whatever you call it, concentration camps. But anyway, get off that point. The point, that was the first question that we asked there. It was like, oh, well, are you going to age on it? Because, if you think about it, no one wants to live all bleeding, shriveled, and, you know what I mean, or having ailments and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, if there was a way that we could tell that this, right, look, you take this pill, and as soon as you take this pill, you automatically transform to a 40-year-old, but you'll stay 40 for the rest of your life. it's a very technical thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you
It's
think
a very
about it,
technical thing. You automatically transform to a 40-year-old. It's a very technical thing.
no, but that's middle ground. It's middle ground. You're not grown up. You're not staying at the life that you're at. You just find a middle ground, and you will stay at that age for the rest of your life. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
or Emmet, can I throw one in there? You could always, if 40 is very important to you, you could always wait till you're 40 and then take it.
yeah, and then grand. But then what about someone who's 60 wants to take it? They should be given a chance to go back and live as a 40-year-old and just.
I don't know if the pill can go backwards. I don't know if it worked that way out yet.
And also, some of you might want to go back to being 20. And also, then, if you can live forever, surely you'll be able to kind of adopt the role of the 20-year-old version of you, because you've got like forever.
Yeah, but you can't have everything. Do you know what I mean?
You could be 40 and get cosmetic surgery and look like you're 20.
But I love how he's going for the equality in all this. He's like, yeah, if I'm getting the pill, I can live forever. Surely somebody who's 60 should be able to live when they're like 40. And it's completely irrational in his mind.
Right.
Like,
So the thing is that you can't have your cake and then eat it, as they would say. You know what I mean?
You can have
a 60-year-old should be 40. That's having your cake and eat it, isn't it?
No, it's not because look, he's 60 and he gets back to 40. The only reason why is so we can. Well, I say equality here. They could walk around and do whatever they wanted to do. I mean, this thing of I'm 40 and I want to take this pill and turn 20 again. Don't be fucking selfish, because you get to live for the rest of your life.
But you're the one who suggested that. I'm just gonna say.
No, but the only reason why I suggested that was because we don't know. We don't know if we stay the age that we are or if we grow old. So I said what would be nice in an idealistic view, which, let's be honest, this is a very idealistic conversation because we're talking about being immortal. What I said was the best way to go about this is just for a reference point. If we take the pill and then you go to 40 and you live 40 for the rest of your life. That's all I was saying.
I want a pill where I can take it and then just live inside Emmet's brain for a day. Just one day to see what goes on.
Well, I don't get it. I just like. I think it's really important to kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like a reverse Benjamin Button. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are starting off, and Benjamin Button starts off really old and he gets really young. Whereas this thing, you're starting off very young and you're getting very old, and then you're living at a constant old age. I think you have to find a nice medium, because like there's no like.
Is that reverse Benjamin Button, or is that like it doesn't Benjamin Button start off old and then gets young and dies? So in this, you're just starting off.
Does he die at the end?
Well, like he has to, because he doesn't have immortality.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
You floored him. Yeah, like I'm still thinking about, like, are we frozen in time? Do we age every 100 years to a normal human year, or do I end up as a shriveled nothingness that can't move? And it's just.
Well,
like,
I suppose even if you age like ridiculously slowly, if you never die, you're still going to end up into your shriveled mandarin, aren't you?
I think you just wouldn't be able to relate. You'd eventually stop wanting to relate to something new.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. Yeah, it'd be like on a micro level, it's like when you go on tour as a band or something, and you're like touring the world, and you just don't have any investment in any relationships because you just know they're not gonna last.
Yeah, the whole thing becomes futile to make connections with people.
Yeah,
and connections are a massive part of what we're all about as humans. Also, like, when we die, we won't know about it. Like, I didn't know when I was alive for 13 billion years, whatever it was. So I'm all right. Like, I don't know.
Well, imagine saying stuff like imagine living in the year for like 3000 or something like that, right? Buses thing have come through. We're all underwater.
Yeah.
And you're chilling with the boys now. And then
imagine you turn around and you're like,
imagine you turn around and you go, I remember back when the Dublin bus stops used to not have a timer, and they were like, oh, when was that? And you'd be like, oh, 2004. You can't. You'd be the ultimate elf. And
I'm sorry.
Would you be frozen at the age of 40?
What?
Would you be frozen in the body of a 40-year-old?
His reference points today are absolutely off the charts. I mean, the first one, he's like, imagine Anne Frank couldn't die. And then the next one is, imagine if you're living in the year when Busted were right and it's 3000. Busted, a fucking band that had 4 hits in the fucking early 2000s. And that again is like, how does your head go there? What is that? Like, imagine if you're living in the year 3000 when Busted are correct with their prophecy.
No.
The future world is really crap, Emmet. Like, what if the future world is like slavery and wars and the earth is fecked and...
What do you mean? We just went... What do you mean? Like, well, like, there's been wars and there's been slavery. I mean, I would have been living the longest, so I'm not going to be a slave. So that's just natural selection.
You could be enslaved in the year 3000.
They could do loads of medical testing on you.
What if you can't swim?
No, I'm a privileged white lad. I'm not going to get put. I'm not going to be subjected to any of that because I'm privileged.
You would.
And I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, you know, like
I've seen you swimming before. You're not a great swimmer.
The wheel can keep turning.
I've seen Emmet swim, and he's not a great swimmer. He wasn't very good around those jellyfish in Waterford before.
No, he doesn't like the water.
But I mean, I'm not a great swimmer, but I get there.
Don't like everything in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll have lots of time, I suppose.
Let me flip the question on you. And I'll ask on all three is just you had me thinking there, Rachel, and I had to ask this. Imagine I turned around to you and said, here's a pill, bang that into you there, and you get to live for 1 week, and then you die, right? But you can have anything that you want for the week.
For a week? I don't know. That's too short.
Anything that, all right, we'll say a month then. You can have anything that you want. So, like, you could become one of the greatest actresses and do a film with Leonardo DiCaprio.
I would make a film in a week. No one makes a film in a week.
But you know, like a month, we'll say a month then. Greg can do his lifelong dream of just being an absolute legend. Jeff can do his lifelong dream.
Living the dream.
More than 10 people.
Hang on now.
Like,
what if my lifelong dream is to, like, give birth or something?
I want to hear what my lifelong dream is. What's my lifelong dream, Emma?
Doing a gig in front of more than 10 people. Like, Rachel, you can't have it. Like, all right, fair enough. Look, you can have anything you want. So, like, if you say I want to have a baby, boom, it's there.
Oh no, like, it's like I want to have the full pregnancy, the whole deal. Just
no,
say.
You can't have that.
I can't have it. Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm like, I reckon I can make a lot of that stuff happen, like, in my life anyway. I fancy my odds here.
Yeah, I don't even know what I want in a month. You know what I mean?
True.
Because I'm kind of, I wouldn't be able to write all the music I want to write in that time. I couldn't.
But I mean, you could say to yourself, the music. What?
Say that again.
You could, like, or your friend, you couldn't write the music, but you could say to yourself, right, I want to have the say quadlibet. I want to play quadlibet in front of Wembley. A sold out crowd at Wembley, and then you just snap your fingers and you're there.
I'd rather take me chances that could happen at some point down the line anyway, but then I get to play the gigs leading up to it and after it.
Fair.
I mean, we all know it won't happen, but you're like, fuck it.
Stranger things have happened.
Look, Greg, my lifelong dream is so small that, like, I mean, if it doesn't happen, I'm a complete failure. So.
Oh yeah, it's tragedy. Maybe he peaked too soon with, like, my dream and Rachel's dream. He ran out of steam for you.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, what would you do though?
What would I do? What's my lifelong dream?
No, well, would you take the pill or not?
God, no. That'd be ridiculous. I've got what you could live for. It's like, you've 1 week to live and you can do whatever you want in that week.
No, a month.
But even a month, that's no time, like.
Fair enough.
And also, say you go really reckless and you can do what you want, you still might get nicked. And then you're in the nick for an innocuous crime, and then you die.
You can do whatever you want, so you can just say, right, I want to get out of here. Go on.
This is like
okay, so it's kind of, you got the key to the key, like, is that it?
You can do whatever you want. Like, that's what I'm saying. Look, sorry, I might have been about. I was just buzzing off Rachel's energy there.
Look, no apologies required, brother.
No, brother.
Can I get back on to the original question, please?
What are the things that you would think about? Like, what would you weigh up?
So
We
with
can
the
take it
one
again.
about being immortal, is this what we're
Yeah.
back on?
Back to immortality.
There's a part of me that would like to see that, like, in time when we're living, that it's such a short and tiny piece of humanity or the grand scale of things. Like, I mean, if you judge like what happened in the 15th century with the Renaissance and all that kind of stuff, and that you'll never actually get to experience that. And sometimes we look back with nostalgia on, say, like the 60s or the early 90s, or, you know, a different part of a time in humanity, which is like so important and has such a huge part to play. So it'd be nice to, like, I think to be a part of me that'd be like, I wonder what it'd be like looking back, like in 1,000 years, and seeing how far humanity has gone and being able to experience that, like from your own point of view. So I think like that would be very, very, very intriguing for me to be. It'd be something that I'd play up. But I still think I'd go back to the whole thing about being lonely. You know what I mean? Like I don't think, because like say you met the absolute love of your life, your soulmate. You just wanted to spend your entire time with her, and you grew old together. You spent, like, as you're saying, Emmet, like 50, 60 years, and you had a lifetime there. And then both of you know that she's going to die. So she dies. I think, do you get over that? And then say you do get over it, and then it starts again, and you do it one more time. And then you say you meet somebody who's just as good or almost as good, and you have this incredible life together again. And you do it for 30, 40 years, and then you go through that horrific pain. Are you ever going to go through that horrific pain again and be like, or do you just become alone? And
I also think, Geoff, like, say we're talking about year 3000, because Busted seems to, like, they know the score. Looking back to now, what could you even retain, really? Would you actually be able to put yourself in it?
Well, you know me, I can't even
remember after 1,000 years, though. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I got
some people
people
don't remember what it was
stuff
like
I did
before
like
the
a couple of
pandemic.
years ago or last week. So
Yeah, some people can't even remember what it was like before the pandemic and being locked up. You know what I mean?
Well, that was 3,000 years ago.
Down the line. The other thing is as well, say we're frozen at the age of 40, as brother Emmet put out there.
Magically.
So we're frozen at 40. So, like, the partner, you know, this love of your life, the one of many, many millions love of your life, probably, if you can live forever, they're going to, like, grow older physically as well. So, you know, you'll lose the attraction and stuff like that. And you're frozen. So you probably won't get 60 years of that person, really.
Dead on. Dead fucking on.
What's that?
You're going to give them up for a younger model.
Well, I mean, essentially that's it, really. Unless you have a fetish for older women.
Maybe you develop.
Can I just point out the fact at the moment that Emmet was nonchalantly playing with toe clippers? just because.
Lads, stay focused on the conversation now, will you please?
I just would like to focus on anything else there. You had the toe clippers out and you were flicking it away, and I was like, why is this on camera?
I mean, personally, I don't have a fetish for older women, but
He does have one for toes.
if you're gonna live forever, you can learn to have a fetish for older women.
So we're kind of going at it like that you're frozen at the age of 40. Are we kind of going with that? Like, why are we running with this?
Right. When you're like a certain age and there's certain people that are just too immature for you because you're just in a different mental place.
Oh, well, can we go back to the whole thing about, like, that you can teach yourself how to have a fetish? Can we explore that for a second?
Yeah, okay. Emma, elaborate.
But I mean, like, I hate to go back to this point, but I will say this point for a podcast, right? And I'm just gonna ask you that if we say this, just please let me explain, because I know that you're gonna be like, oh, what, right? So for anybody out there listening, this is all I will say about it, right? You don't like a spaghetti bolognese until you've eaten a spaghetti bolognese. And what I mean by that is, you don't know if you like something until you try it, right? So, we'll use the spaghetti bolognese analogy. So, you couldn't say that you didn't like spaghetti bolognese because you didn't eat it, right? So then you eat it and you liked it. So let's just replace spaghetti bolognese with something like, I don't know, hentai.
Hentai.
Hentai, right? So I could say to myself, not a big fan of cartoons. That's grand, right? Grand. If I go back to that in 100 years, maybe there's a new variety of cartoons. Maybe there's some stuff that I wouldn't even. Maybe it got more realistic, and then I liked it. Times change, it evolves. Foot fetishes. I don't like 5 toes, and I don't like feet. 100 years time, evolution. 6 toes.
I still don't think, I do get what you're saying, but I don't think you teach yourself to have a fetish. I think what you're saying is you might tip into something that you thought that you wouldn't be into, but you try it and you go, I'm actually into this. I could spend 500 years at feet.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like, I think if you suck a dick long enough, you're going to enjoy giving a blowjob. I think, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know about that.
New question, right? You get pretty bored of like sex after thousands and thousands of years. So I think Emma has a point in that you'd probably start to try some pretty bizarre stuff.
Boom.
Yeah. What's your overriding point?
She's got it in one. Rachel just got it in one right there. Thank you very much, Rachel.
You're going to get bored with lots of stuff, so you probably try everything.
Yeah.
But can I just go back? Because this started with you said that you could teach yourself to have a fetish for older women so that you could stay with your soulmate.
I never once said, we can play it back. I don't believe I said I could teach myself. I said that over time you could learn to love it. And if I did say teach, apologies. I meant you could learn to love it.
I mean, there is similarities between those two statements.
Yeah.
I don't think teaching and learning is very different.
You could teach yourself or you could learn. When you teach yourself, you learn.
Look, no, I don't think so.
You're a bad teacher of yourself.
I think after 200 years of, you know,
self-teaching,
20-year-old models and I don't know.
Look how he thinks he's getting the 20-year-old models just because he's immortal.
Oh yeah, of course. But why wouldn't you?
Stick around with me, love. I know.
He's a vampire.
I just think that after a while you would learn to love. Well, like, look, I'm not gonna lie.
Would you not?
I'm not gonna lie.
Because your heart's gonna get broken.
Yeah, well, you can learn not to love. It's a question that I wouldn't really have thought because I love women of all shapes, ages, and sizes. Do you know? But what I'm saying is, but yeah, it doesn't matter to me. You know, on one hand you have youth and good looks, and on the other hand you have stability in a bank account. So I'm open.
Go, Emmet. Like,
sorry.
How far does that end go? Like, from where to where?
Look, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know because I haven't reached that. I haven't fondled all women of all ages, so I wouldn't know. I mean, it would at least start at I wouldn't. Obviously, it would start at the age of 19. But in terms of going up and above that, I mean, I don't know. Like, it depends. Like, if you look at Dolly Parton's in her mid-70s. You wouldn't say no to her though.
Would you say no, Greg?
No.
Probably not. No. Would
you say no, Geoff?
I'm staying out of this conversation at the moment. I'm just thinking of the bank account stability.
Jessica Lange.
Who's that? All the rich women he could go after and men, and then he could like inherit all their money and like basically own the world after a while.
Elton John. Am I gonna say no to him because he has a few wrinkles on his forehead? No way.
He put me off a plate of spaghetti.
I'd be his rocket man any day. I tell you that much, Greg. I'm only buzzing. It's just food for thought, though, really, isn't it? Like, I think the main point here that we need to that I would like to stress in seriousness here is that
we're not allowed nail clippers in these podcasts anymore. The nail clippers has to be away from the podcast. We're not allowed to play with it nonchalantly. I think that's a really good point.
It's a perspective thing. It's all about like as soon as you hear immortality, you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna be alone. I'm gonna die alone. Like loneliness. But I mean, like, think about the positives of it. Think about what you will see in thousands of years' time. Things that we could have never predicted. Things that we would laugh about now. I mean, if you look at, I love listening to old, really old radio channels radio stations and snippets of things that you would hear, and you look at the 1930s, 1940s, and radio stations. People would be on talk shows. They'd be laughing about a little plastic card that you can put into a wall and money will come out. And then we look at 2020 and ATMs are everywhere, and it's a normal thing. And you kind of say to yourself, how could people not believe this is going to happen? What is that going to be like in 2,000 years time, 3,000 years time? Like time travel.
Even
We laugh
200
about
years
time travel.
time. You know, like
Sorry?
even 200 years time. I mean, there was no bank cards. Was there? Well, like bank cards only came in the, I'd say, 90s in Ireland.
Mm.
And then, like, if you had to tell somebody in the early 90s that you could use like a piece of plastic to just like tap on stuff to pay for something, they would blow their minds, I'd imagine. Is that like 30 years ago?
Man,
20 years ago?
but let's look at 1,000, 2,000 years down the line. And that's how we're coming from. 2,000 years down the line, time travel. Time travel will be there, no doubt. So you can go.
There's some doubt though that time travel exists.
I've
Yeah.
no doubt in my mind that time travel won't exist in 2,000 years time.
You've
I've
did you just say you've no doubt in your mind that time travel won't exist in
or
2000?
will exist. Sorry, it will exist in 2,000 years.
Well, there's a
Time
little
travel
bit of doubt there then, so Emmet, isn't there? A little bit of doubt.
I like. There's so many things that I want to see happen that I won't see in my lifetime. You know, and that will.
Like Busted's predictions.
Sorry.
Like Busted's predictions or prophecies.
Okay.
Well, see, I think
so-
Busted are a bit. Sorry,
Or
Rachel.
Anne Frank being a
Right,
AK-47 wielding zombie.
I'm not saying she be a zombie. I'm saying she could have killed Hitler.
So would you take it or not? Plus your 5 reasons why or why not. Emmet, go.
I'm taking that bitch. Number 1, so I can live. Number 2, I think Busted are dead right because of global warming. We are all going to live underwater, and I want to see what it's like the fucking mermaid. Number 3, Anne Frank could have killed Hitler if it was happening. Number 4, I want to develop a lot of fetishes. Number 5, I want to see time travel.
Bravo. I love that. That's a reason I want to develop fetishes. That's
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
That is great.
That's my favourite. Like, I want to develop a load of fetishes.
You know what?
I'm not going to put this button there.
You got me so excited. I'll probably take the pill with you now.
yeah. I'm splitting the pill 3 ways, 4 ways. Let's all do it and just see how fucked up Emmet can get.
We never thought about that. We could just split it. And then that means we might live, maybe, I don't know, let's say we get another 250 years together. I'd go for that.
I go for that too.
Yeah. I'd say like 250 billion years, yeah. Maybe, what is it, a long...
Well, yeah, but once there's a cut-off point
I mean, it never ends, so I don't know.
Go quarters on it.
I think ultimately, though, I'm going to pass on the pill.
Okay, 5 reasons why?
I do think I really enjoy the life that I live, having urgency, the fact that there is a moment in time where it won't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I would be afraid of just going into a mandarin that can't move and just sees the world passing it by. I'm just a little rock. Let me see, what else do I not like the idea of? Oh, I think eventually, like in the year 5,000 and whatever the fuck, I'm going to be so overwhelmed with information. Like, what do you store? I think you'd lose sight of who you even are. You wouldn't even know who you are anymore. And then the other reason is some kind of, I suppose it feeds into some kind of loneliness. And you have no meaning. I mean, you kind of question what the meaning of life is anyway, but that has no meaning. The fact that you can't die, it just descends into just this linear kind of boredom. There you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Geoff?
Yeah, I don't think I'd take it for kind of similar reasons in a way. I think that eventually you'll become incredibly lonely, and then that would be the rest of existence for you. Like, there'd be no end in sight, and it'd be like, yeah, I don't think you would ever get out of that. I think you'd see so many people die over a huge amount of time. Like, even if you try to set up relationships again after the first generation, the second generation, eventually it just becomes boring and repetitive, and the loss of the soul and the loss of the self and the person goes with that, and then I don't know what you become. So I think like for that, yeah, I would love to see that. I'd love to be able to look back at the world in 1,000 years and see where the advancements in technology and in evolution and all that stuff have occurred. But yeah, I don't think it's worth the risk.
How do you feel about being cryogenically frozen? So then you
Worked for Fry and Futurama, didn't it?
yeah. So then you could actually see what things are going to be like in the future.
Yeah, he was a pizza delivery boy, and now he's fucking a one-eyed, purple-haired legend.
No, that's not how Futurama worked.
Futurama, yeah, he's banging Leela.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said he turned into a one-eyed chick. I was like, that definitely didn't happen.
No, they just started gooching that. Now, if you would have asked him before he was cryogenically frozen, here, Fry, what fetishes do you have? Guarantee he wouldn't have said fucking one-eyed cyborg fetish.
Certainly wouldn't have. Couldn't even imagine it.
Not a hope. No, you're dead right. I love how he makes a point and then goes back. Look at that pose with the bottle. Absolutely.
Now that we've had this conversation, maybe Emmet might have a kind of a want to develop fetishes now. Maybe in the rest of his lifetime. And I'd be interested to see where they're going to go.
Pegging has always been a huge fetish of mine.
What is?
Pegging. And I didn't even know what it was. And now I'm saying to myself, no, I think I might like that. So I think you're right, Greg. I think you're right.
All right.
We'll catch up with you on that at a later time. I don't want a full report of this and how that goes. After you're allowed to leave your house.
Definitely not.
I didn't. I love it. Like, I just love the way he introduced that. You know what I love? Pegging. I didn't know what it was, but I think I'd like it.
Well, the missus explained it to me. And
are you developing any fetishes? Any fetishes you want to develop in the future?
Any fetishes? Nothing. There's nothing on my bucket list currently.
Nothing at the moment.
I'll tell you one thing though. I'm very inquisitive.
Okay.
I have a great level of intrigue, and although when I'm sober, I'm sober like the last 13, 14 days. So like, I'm kind of thinking too clearly. I'm too lucid and serene, which is good for my health, but bad for the demons and the lunacy that I kind of gravitate towards.
Okay, we'll check in with that as well. And Geoff, any fetishes you're planning on developing?
Hey, you're getting a bit of information there. Get up, Rachel. Get that. Take the sweet out.
I like the old ASMR stuff. Like I get mad sensitive with that, so that's more than enough for me. Like that just fucking drives me nuts. I've already got a couple, so yeah. Yeah.
We'll finish on that note, and we'll catch up with everybody in the next episode. Thanks, Emmet, Greg, and Geoff, and see you all soon.